Just remember this, Mr. Potter, that this rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever.
Now, we'll all calm down.
Boss, he's just a little excited.
I know. I'm going to use good judgment. I haven't lost my temper in 40 years. But, Pilgrim, you caused a lot of trouble this morning. Might have got somebody killed. And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. I won't. The hell I won't.
I know that you stripped me more than naked. I know that you actually terrified me to death. I stood on those stairs looking down and realizing that my coat sleeve button, the banister, the nail on my fourth finger were absolutely the last things I was going to see, ever.
One pork chop. One.
Hey, Frank! It's disgusting, right? Sick. We just washed the hair. Yeah. You know, I work on my hair a long time, and you hit it. He hits my hair.
Ever since we dispensed with God, we've got nothing but ourselves to explain this meaningless horror of life.
You're wacko.
Well, I think that true self, that original self, that first self is a real, mensurate, quantifiable thing, tangible and incarnate. And I'm going to find the fucker.
Don't write this down, but I find Milton probably as boring as you find Milton. Mrs. Milton found him boring, too. He's a little bit long-winded. He doesn't translate very well into our generation, and his jokes are terrible. But that does not relieve you from your responsibility for this material. Now, I'm waiting for reports from some of you. I'm not joking. This is my job.
This much I've learned from Gracchus. Rome is the mob.
No. Rome is an eternal thought in the mind of God.
I had no idea you'd grown religious.
It doesn't matter. If there were no gods at all, I'd revere them. If there were no Rome, I'd dream of her.
It's a waste. That's what I'm telling you. And that those men and their families are only going to get hurt. And that nothing is going to change. Nothing. And after jail, after 5 or 6 years of bad blood, when it's practical for some fascist producer to hire some communist writer to save his ass because his hit movie's in trouble, he'll do it. They'll both do it. They'll make movies. They'll have dinner. They'll play tennis. They'll make passes at each other's wives. Now, what in the hell did anybody ever go to jail for? For what? A political spat?
They're making our food out of people. Next thing, they'll be breeding us like cattle for food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
Promise, Tiger. I promise. I'll tell the exchange.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them. Silent breed is people. We've gotta stop them somehow.
They can't be trotting down to Times Square to pick out the merchandise. They gotta have some kind of middleman. And that's where old Daniel comes in, you know what I mean?
Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Up yours, you son of a bitch! You don't talk me that way! Get out of here!
Don't worry about that. Actually, that ain't a bad way to pick up insurance, you know.
Look, we depend on the summer people here for our very lives.
You are not going to have a summer
close those
unless you
beaches,
deal
we're
with this
finished.
problem.
We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark. I mean, we're going to have to tell the Coast Guard.
Mr. Vaughn,
we're going
you
to
have to
get shark
contact the
repellent.
shark
We're going to have to put
research
extra
panel.
deputies on because
You
every
have to
nut in
ring
the world
this
is going to
entire
come in
harbor.
here. We
I don't think one of you
are
are familiar with our problems.
I think that I am familiar with the fact that you are going to ignore this particular problem until it swims up and bites you on the ass.
I'll feel fine. Maybe I'll get down on my black knees. All right, Mr. Charlie. All right, Mr. Great White Father. You just give us that money, and we won't come out there and dirty up your white folks' neighborhood. And I'll feel fine. Fine. Fine.
You're an insecure, pampered woman accustomed to attracting men. But you're not quite sure whether they're attracted to you or to your money. You may never know.
Anything else?
What you need is something I have neither the time nor the inclination to give you.
Oh, and just what is that?
2 weeks with a good man at Niagara Falls.
Where John made his mistake, I think, was attaching so much importance to what her mother and I might think. Because in the final analysis, it doesn't matter a damn what we think. The only thing that matters is what they feel and how much they feel for each other. And if it's half of what we felt, that's everything.
I feel lousy about the pain that I've caused my wife and my kids. I feel guilty and conscience-stricken, and all of those things that you think sentimental, but which my generation calls simple human decency. And I miss my home because I'm beginning to get scared shitless. Because all of a sudden it's closer to the end than it is the beginning, and death is suddenly a perceptible thing to me, with definable features.
You're going back to the front, my friend. You may get shot, you may get killed, but you're going up to the fighting. Either that or I'm going to stand you up in front of a firing squad. I ought to shoot you myself, you goddamn good-looking bastard. Get him out of here. Send him up to the front. You hear me? You goddamn coward!
Sir, would you like me to suggest what you can do with that promotion?
Colonel Dax! You will apologize at once or I shall be placed under arrest.
I apologize for not being entirely honest with you. I apologize for not revealing my true feelings. I apologize, sir, for not telling you sooner that you're a degenerate, sadistic old man.
And you can go to hell before I apologize to you now or ever again.
For 6 months, I've lived alone in this apartment. All alone in 8 big rooms. I was dejected, despondent, and disgusted. And then you moved in. My closest and dearest friend. And after 3 weeks of close personal contact, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown.
You ain't heading for California, huh? Oh, I figured on sticking around a while. Got myself a job. Cow punching? Marshalling. Marshalling? In Tombstone? Well, good luck to you, Mr. Earp. Wyatt Earp.
I need another 1,000.
I admire your courage, Miss...
Trench. Sylvia Trench. I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Mr. Bond, I suppose you wouldn't care to, raise the limit?
I have no objections.
C'est pas possible, madame. C'est illégal, monsieur.
She hurt you, Janet?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about?
I'm sorry you're hurt.
I'm not hurt.
You just said you were hurt.
I'm not hurt.
You just said you were
I
hurt.
didn't say I was hurt. You said I was hurt.
I asked you if you were hurt, and you said, yeah, I'm hurt.
That's because you made me say it. You're starting to put words in my mouth.
Jack, you're a grown man. You have control over your own words.
You're goddamn right I do. So here come 2 words for you. Shut the fuck up.
I don't want any more trouble like you had last year in the Fillmore district. Understand? That's my policy.
Yeah, well, when an adult male is chasing a female with intent to commit rape, I shoot the bastard. That's my policy.
Intent? How did you establish that?
Well, a naked man is chasing a woman through an alley with a butcher knife and a heart on. I figure he isn't out collecting for the Red Cross.
What do I get? A one-way ticket to Palookaville. You was my brother, Charlie. You should have looked out for me a little bit. You should have taken care of me just a little bit so I wouldn't have to take them dives for the short-end money.
Well, I had some bets down for you. You saw some money.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody. Instead of a bum, which is what I am. Let's face it.
We are the pros from Dover, and we figure to crack this kid's chest and get out to the golf course before it gets dark. So you go find the gas passer, and you have him premedicate this patient. Then bring me the latest pictures on him. The ones we saw must be 48 hours old by now. Then call the kitchen and have them rustle us up some lunch. Ham and eggs will be all right. Steak would be even better. And then give me at least one nurse who knows how to work in close without getting her tits in my way.
Oh, you fool. How do you want your steak cooked?
My money is still in your pocket, which is from the yield of my labor. You're making big profits from my work, my risk, my sweat. Why don't you join the labor union? I'm wearing it.
Frank, don't.
Do it, Slick. My money in 24 hours, or you will wear your ass for a hat.
Okay. Give me this shit.
I'm giving you 3 leads.
3? No, I count 2.
There's 3 leads there.
Patel, fuck you. Fucking Shiva handed this guy $1 million, told him sign the deal. He wouldn't sign. And the god Vishnu, too, into the bar. Fuck you, John. You know your business, I know mine. Your business being an asshole. I find out whose fucking cousin you are. I'm gonna go to him and figure out a way to have your ass. Fuck you!
What has this boy got that Susie likes?
Integrity. Acute. Like indigestion.
What does this mean? Integrity.
A pocket full of firecrackers. Waiting for a match. You know, it's a new wrinkle. To tell you the truth, I never thought I'd make a killing on some guy's integrity.
I'd hate to take a bite out of you. You're a cookie full of arsenic.
Stop that, will you? What are you doing?
I'm trying to clear up my ears. You create a pressure inside your head. It opens up the eustachian tube.
Did it open up?
Uh-huh.
They hold a man on the slab, helpless. He cannot move. In 15 minutes, the knife reaches the heart. Gotcha.
Did you really hear what I said?
I said Raymond Shaw is the kindest, warmest, bravest, most wonderful human being I've ever known in my life. And even now I feel that way, this minute. And yet, somewhere in the back of my mind, something tells me it's not true. It's just not true. It isn't as if Raymond's hard to like. He's impossible to like. In fact, he's probably one of the most repulsive human beings I've ever known in all of my life.
We get depositions from each one of them. I don't give them what they say, but I want it in writing.
Hey, look, I came over here to nail that frog son of a bitch good. That's not part of my plan to sit around beating my meat while you French narcs grab all the credit. That's what you want, right? You stick me next to the shit house while you pull down all the medals, right?
That's right.
The one thing that you're going to have to remember, the one most important factor, is to protect your quarterback, me. Wait a minute. That's no bullshit. If anything happens to me, if I get hurt, we're going to have to live with the fact that we had one chance in a million to humiliate those bastards, and we blew it.
I'm gonna beat him, mister. I beat him all night, and I'm gonna beat him all day. I'm the best you ever seen, Fats. I'm the best there is. Now, even if you beat me, I'm still the best.
Look, Chalmers, let's understand each other. I don't like you.
Come on now, don't be naive, Lieutenant. We both know how careers are made. Integrity is something you sell the public.
You sell whatever you want, but don't sell it here tonight.
Frank, we must all compromise.
Bullshit. Get the hell out of here now.
My father imprisoned a friend of his in this room for 3 years. When he was released, he could never again bear to look at the sun, or even a daffodil.
How cruel.
Cruel? It was simply a test to prove how easily a man's mind can be controlled and twisted.
Bill, you have the best hands in football. But there's a lot more to this business than ability.
No, B.A., you're wrong. You're wrong, because it is ability. It is what I can do with these hands. And that's why I play the game.
You can't take all the time. You have to give something back to the game.
Oh, for Christ's sake, B.A., my nose is busted. I can't even breathe through it. I can hardly stand up. You know, I haven't slept more than 3 hours at a stretch in 2 years. Now, isn't that giving something back?
Meanwhile, his brother's sitting in a shitty apartment with a sick dog, little orphan Annie, and a chip on his shoulder about as big as a Cadillac.
Listen to me, Princess. We fucked twice. That's it. Once the sweat dries, you still don't know shit about me, got it?
I know one thing. While Frank Baker was home putting his kids to sleep last night, little brother Jack was out dusting off his dreams for a few minutes. I was there. I saw it in your face.
You did the one in Istanbul. What was his name?
You mean the one you couldn't get to come to?
This is the second time that you've laid hands on me. When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
I think we're gonna have to get drunk.
I don't get drunk, and I don't care for escorts who do.
You got me into this, and you're just gonna have to trust me about this one thing. You need a lot of drinks.
To break the ice.
To kill the bug that you have up your ass.